In this video, we're going through a step-by-step method on how to shoot awesome hyperlapses using only your camera and your feet. Now, this method of shooting a hyperlapse only involves using your feet. And the reason that you can get away from not using a tripod or a stabilizer or anything like that is the plugin that we're gonna use in post. So this video is sponsored by Pixel Film Studios, and we're gonna be using their plugin, Stabilize 2.0, to really do something unique when it comes to hyperlapses. And if you use code JevenPixel, you'll get 30% off this plugin. So here's the hyperlapse I just shot down here at the pier. When you're shooting a hyperlapse, you want movement. So you want clouds in the sky, you want different textures of light, or you just want different things passing by the lens. So if you had like leading lines going into your subject in the far distance and you got things like palm trees or columns rushing past you, that's gonna really make your hyperlapse look that much better. So first, let's go through some of the things that you need to think about when you're shooting. You need to shoot on manual. You wanna make sure that you have full control of all of your settings. If you have any sort of fluctuation going on with your exposure, your color, or your focus, then it's gonna throw off the hyperlapse. So you wanna make sure that you dial in your exposure, you set it to manual, and this is the exposure that you're gonna use from beginning to end of this hyperlapse. Now, you also wanna set your focus. So typically when you're doing a hyperlapse, you're using something that's far off in the distance, so you're gonna set your focus once, and you're not really gonna need to reset it. You don't wanna shoot with super shallow depth of field. You wanna shoot where your subject is always gonna be in focus. And when it comes to white balance, you're always gonna wanna shoot with a locked in white balance. You don't wanna shoot auto, because it might fluctuate from more blue to more orange depending on what's in your frame. So set all of those to manual, make sure you lock your first image. And one thing I wanna add is that you want to shoot at a high shutter speed. So this isn't gonna work if you're shooting at a super slow shutter speed and you have motion blur in each of your shots. And you'll see in post, we can actually add some motion blur later. All right, so the next step is you wanna make sure that you have either your center marker on your camera turned on or you have the grid. Different cameras have different grid settings, but basically what this allows you to do is put one spot in your frame. So for me, it's gonna be the Ferris wheel. That is my center point. So I'm gonna use my crosshairs and I'm gonna center it up right on the center of the Ferris wheel. And every time I take a photo, I'm gonna make sure that the crosshairs are as close to that center mark as possible. Now, you don't have to be perfect every time. You just need it close to the same spot. So just line up the crosshairs or line up the point that you've chosen on your grid to the same object every single shot. All right, so the next part to this is movement. You need to move in one direction, whether that's forward, backwards, left, or right, depending on what kind of hyperlapse you want to create. Now, to do this, just use your feet, and just all you want to do is take a step. Now, one thing to remember, the bigger the step you take, the faster your hyperlapse is going to move. So if you want to make it move a little slower, do smaller steps. But if you want faster movement, take bigger steps. And now you just need to figure out how you're gonna hold your camera. For me, I just put it right up to my face so that I could see exactly what I'm seeing in the viewfinder, line it up, take my photo, take my step. Line it up, take my photo, take my step. And it's just as simple as that. You just move one step at a time, take your photo, move to the next step, and just keep the camera in the same position. Using your eye is gonna be the easiest way to do this because the camera's always gonna be at the same height, whereas if you have it out here, you might move it up, down, left, right, it's not always gonna be as perfect. So a couple more things about shooting. Higher megapixels is gonna result in more opportunity to shoot higher resolution hyperlapses. And one of the beauties of shooting hyperlapses is that they sell well as stock footage. And so if you wanna sell stock footage and you wanna make money from your hyperlapses, then you wanna shoot at the highest resolution that you can. Higher resolution cameras, 42 megapixels, 50, whatever the crazy ones are nowadays, those are gonna have a much better advantage because you could shoot an 8K hyperlapse, whereas I'm just shooting on the GH5. So my max resolution is gonna be around 4K. And it also depends on how much you have to crop in when we get into post, and that's just something to keep in mind. Also, if you wanna process your color in something like Lightroom, then you're gonna wanna shoot in RAW just so you have the most flexibility in post. But if you just wanna make a quick hyperlapse and you don't wanna worry about too much color grading, then JPEG is fine because you're not gonna be doing a whole lot of post-processing beyond the stabilization. All right, let's get into the editing software. So my first step in the editing process is jumping into Lightroom and just editing the color. Now I export all these photos out as JPEGs and then bring them into Final Cut and drop them in my timeline. When you drop them into timeline, depending on what your settings are, they're going to be longer than 1 second. So you're going to want to select all and then change the duration to 1 second for every shot. So all your clips will still be selected, and now you want to turn this into a compound clip. Now this is where the magic happens. From here, you drop on Stabilize 2.0 to your compound clip. This plugin works super well. It's used to isolate a single point in your footage and completely stabilize the entire shot. But beyond stabilizing an object, I found that you can actually use this to create a super easy, stable hyperlapse. With Stabilize 2.0, you're still focusing on one point, but what this plugin is doing is syncing up the position and rotation of all your photos. First, you open up your track editor. Second, use your selection tool to grab a portion of the frame that's going to be easy to track. I'm going to select this section right underneath the pier because the Ferris wheel is my main focal point. Step 3, change your tracking type to track for position and rotation. Now change your track quality to a value of 100%. Now step 4 is click the play button and Stabilize 2.0 will go through and auto track every frame. Step 5 is export the data. Now when you play back this footage, you'll see that it has been completely stabilized. Step 6 will be to use your offset scale and offset position to make sure that you fill the frame and have the correct position for your main focal point. For this shot, the Ferris wheel is my focus. Now for this shot specifically, I would do one more step to make this work better. So step 7 is to keyframe your offset position so that the Ferris wheel stays as your main focal point throughout the shot. Now you have a super smooth looking hyperlapse. To make this even smoother, I use another plugin from Pixel Film Studios called Motion Blur. You can add this on top of your footage, and you have a few controls in your inspector window to dial in the amount of motion blur you want for the shot. This final step will really make your hyperlapse look even smoother. And that's all it takes to create a super smooth hyperlapse and not using a bunch of extra gear. This is something that you can do anytime you're shooting. If you see a cool subject, something that looks like it would be the perfect thing to create a hyperlapse out of, just pop on the camera into photos and just snap away, and you can knock this out pretty easily. And guys, make sure you head down the description because I have links to both the Stabilizer 2.0 and the Motion Blur tool. All right guys, that is it. I'll see you on the next one.